All right. Looks like the stream is all up and running. Fantastic. I think I'm going to take a sip of this drink before I get moving. Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to my Cold War stream today. We're going to be doing a stream on solo Firebase Z. Let's go ahead and get it started right now. Welcome, 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 all who will watch. I am excited to get streaming today. I'm actually really excited to get into other games. I want to finish, just the 4 maps in Cold War, just to say I have them, just to put them up there, kind of thing, and go back to them eventually. But and do like challenges or something or another. But what I really want to get into after this is a couple of interesting games I have in mind. And for the time being, I'm having a fantastic time with Cold War and stuff like that. But there's just so many ideas I have as of late. But today, we're going to be getting right into Firebase Z, Black Ops Cold War Zombies. And I'm going to be using what I think is the best assault rifle in this game, both in zombies and in multiplayer. Um, I'm not going to be using Frenzied Guard per se, but I do have my classes already pre-set up, so that's just the thing. You can switch between your field upgrades anytime you want to, which is an awesome thing that they put in this game. Let's be real, it's very awesome. Allowing me to just basically take advantage of things like toxic growth camping, whereas like early game toxic growth usage is not really all that great. It really isn't. All right, so EM2. I do actually like. Okay, looks like it's running pretty fairly well. I do actually like the sight that is automatically on the EM2 so that you don't have to put a sight on it. I've kind of juggled back and forth with whether I want a red dot or something of that nature on this assault rifle. But the one big reason why I'm not so keen on getting rid of the sight is because look at the carry handle. That carry handle gives me such like M16 vibes, but cooler because it's a little bit lower profile and it's got a sharper angle to it. The real EM2 in real life does not look like this. I think that they tried to make it look more macho or brutal or cool. And I mean, I appreciate it because I will say that in my opinion, it looks really cool. So I'm definitely not a proponent against what they did with the EM2's carry handle. I love this gun. So this stream, not the whole stream obviously, but at least for the time being, I'm going to be talking about why I love this gun. There's many reasons actually. First and foremost is actually it has to do with a gun that I thoroughly enjoy. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and use Aether Shroud for the time being. Why not? My favorite gun of all time in multiplayer zombies and Call of Duty in general, up to at least this game, I would say, was Black Ops 3's Man of War. I loved its fire rate. I loved its damage. I loved the headshot multiplier with the high caliber attachment. I just loved everything about that gun. And the interesting thing is basically the EM2 shares almost directly all of the statistics that the Man of War has. Now, the Man of War comes stock with 30 ammunition in the magazine. This comes with 20. So some degree, they tried to balance it. this is the fastest reloading assault rifle in this game. I think it's one of the fastest reloading guns in this game in general, which is pretty darn insane. As you can see, like it reloads. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe it reloads faster. I've tested it out. It seems like it's at least the same or very similar, but I believe it reloads faster when you empty the magazine, which is so cool. So, the Man of War and the EM2 basically have the exact same damage range, the exact same damage statistics. The only thing that the EM2 doesn't exactly share with the Man of War is the fact that it has its own built-in headshot multiplayer, because this game does not have the high caliber attachment, nor the mechanics of that game. Yeah, I love that reload. And the fire rate. The fire rate of this gun is slightly faster than the Man of War. The Man of War had 517 rounds per minute, and this has 535. Honest to goodness, the difference is minuscule. The time to kill is still very high on this, especially in multiplayer. And I just love it. I think it's cool. I'm a big fan of bullpup rifles and weapons, which this is. It's where the action and the ammunition comes behind the pistol grip of your firearm. And so that's kind of like behind the trigger grip, I should say, the trigger mechanism. EM2 is a really cool rifle that could have been something that was adopted at some point, but the British were just, they were hesitant. And I think it had to do with the fact that, it was a new cartridge, it was a new technology, it would have been costly. So I can almost see why they didn't do it, but it would have been really cool to see how things would have changed had this rifle been adopted. I mean, this rifle was minusculely used. So the fact that it's even in this game is pretty cool. I know people who particularly hate the fact that games like Battlefield 1 had a lot of experimental weapons, like the Hellriegel. I don't mind that at all. I personally much prefer it over what Cold War started doing, which is adding guns that don't exist, which kind of blows my mind. This game is set in an era, in the 80s and 90s, where there are so many firearms that they could choose from, that it's just impossible for me to believe that they could not figure out, like, alright, I forgot, this is not a rebuildable barrier. They couldn't figure out guns to put in this game. There are even guns in Black Ops 1 that were in the Cold War era that are neglected. They're not in this game, like the MPL. I'm glad they brought in the PM63, but it's mismodeled and misrepresented, which is something I don't like. It's just really unfortunate. But there's so many guns in this era. Like, for instance, why do we have the Carve in this game? Why do we have the Carve in this game if we can't have the G11? The G11 is literally what the Carve is, except the Carve is like a magazine-fed rifle variant that never existed. It was just something they came up with. But why, though? You mean to tell me that the G11 wouldn't have been cooler? I really don't get it. But in the sense of like faithful representation of some weapons, I think the EM2 is a pretty good realization of the weapon itself, and I personally enjoy it. I think it's cool. I think everything about it is cool. The fire rate, the noise it makes, the damage it does, its usage is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoy it. So those are my reasons, at least my semblance of reasons as to why this gun is my favorite assault rifle in this game. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite assault rifles in all of Call of Duty history. Just very fantastic. And it's actually good. It's not like a niche weapon that isn't good, because there's plenty of those in Call of Duty, especially in zombies, that just kind of prove no point. There are plenty of guns we could literally talk about that basically have no point in this game. Weapons too, for instance, like all the melee weapons. Everything besides the ballistic knife, in my opinion, has 0 point to be used in this game. And, you know, there's people who say, you're doing it an injustice, because the weapons in this game, oh, what am I doing? I need ammo. All right. I seriously lost my train of thought, but okay. That is a-okay. I love doing that with this map, though, is that this is really the only zombies map in Cold War that kind of lets you use the trial machine basically from the get-go. And I'm a huge fan of that. Gosh, I can't remember what in the heck I was just talking about. I feel like I'm senile or something. But either way, when I start this map, I always wait until about round 11 before I open up anything, or not round 11, round 8 before I open up anything. Specifically because you can gather enough points and resources, and especially like doing the trials. The trials in this map are so easy to get done. I already have legendary. It's round 8, and it's because for some reason, don't ask me why they didn't decide to do this in the later maps. This was actually a problem with D Machine too, is that if you had an area that wasn't open, you could be told to go do a trial in that area, which is dumb. But this map, it doesn't do that. So what's the difference, you know? And let's go ahead and grab ourselves Speed Cola. Always gotta have ourselves some good old Speed Cola. Alright, we can actually go ahead and get second tier of armor. Yeah, I'm just a huge fan of this weapon. I really am a huge fan of this weapon. I love everything about it. The fact that it's very strong. I'm a big fan of the strong, slow fire rate weapons. I really am. It's very telling when my favorite LMG of all time is the Gorgon. Something that either people just absolutely loved or absolutely hated. A 2-shot LMG, I don't care how slow it fires. That's fantastic. That's fun. A lot of people didn't like it. Didn't enjoy being slayed by it, but I mean, honestly, you kind of were in a situation where it was hard to get beaten by somebody who was using a Gorgon in Black Ops 3 because it was so darn slow, and because you had so many options of movement. So you had to be, in my personal opinion, you had to be skillful with the weapon in order to get anything done with it. I don't personally know anyone who actually likes the weapon. Alright. We have power open. I also don't pull out my legendary rewards until after I have at least 3 perks. At least. Yep, we'll pack a punch. Cryo Freeze sounds like a good idea. I am a lover of Cryo Freeze after all. This gun's reload speed gets insane with Speed Cola. And considering that Speed Cola is, at least the reload speed of Speed Cola is heavily nerfed in this game, I mean, that's really saying something. All right, let's go ahead and activate the bunny rabbit teddy bear Easter egg, whatever you want to call it. I always try to do this mid-round, and usually try to make sure that I have like some kind of field upgrade ready, because there are times, well, I should say, once the teddy bear jumps up at you, you can't move, but the zombies can still hit you. I have gone down on a number of occasions because of forgetting that. All right, one more. You missed. Stamina up is just too awesome in this game. I love it. I'm just such a fan of what they did with the perks in this game. We'll gladly take that. We'll gladly take you. I mean, that is an orange AK-40 or 74, but don't really want it, if I was being honest. All right, we're going to go ahead and stay in the spawn and get ourselves quick revive before I go back and pick up the legendary rewards. Hopefully, the legendary reward is the wonder weapon. That would be a nice early obtain. All right, let's go ahead and buy our quick revive. And take care of much of this wave, especially since we got double points. Always take advantage of your double points. All right, let's pause this right quick. And we're back. All right. Let's see. I mean, we're pretty well good on perks for the time being. What we really need to do is just save up points for double pack and hope we get the wonder weapon. Let's go find out. Yeah, so that's the one thing about this game, is that if you're going to camp, like I typically do, you really need the wonder weapon in order to do so. There's not really a viable way to camp in this game without the wonder weapon. You're pretty much up a creek without a paddle if you don't take advantage of the power of those things, because even though every weapon in this game can eliminate zombies after the health cap, the problem is it's just not fast enough. And if it's not fast enough, it gets to the point where you're kind of limited on what you can use. Shotguns are so powerful, but the issue is that they don't really have the ammo, and they're too slow in reloads. You've got even things like the Street Sweeper, which gets much better after Pack-a-Punch with its reload speed. That's absolutely the case, but the issue with that is that you just don't have really... You don't have the DPS to go along with it, and the reload speed is still slow. You reload 5 shells at a time. If you reloaded like 10 or or 15 even, it would be a different story. I understand why they don't do that, though, because they don't want the shotguns to be that powerful, but they should be strong. You know, a lot of people complained about, oh, well, Cold War's just a shotgun meta for zombies. Okay, yeah, maybe that's true. The wonder weapons are still better than the shotguns. Let's be honest here. But um, the problem is that most zombie games, the shotguns were not the meta. They were not the meta. Black Ops 2 shotguns were terrible. Black Ops 1 shotguns were terrible. World at War shotguns were terrible. Like, need we say more? In Black Ops 3, they were viable for the early rounds to mid rounds up until about round like 30-ish. But the problem was their ammo. That was really a problem with zombies as a whole, at least until Black Ops 3-ish. There were a lot of weapons in Black Ops 3 that had decent ammo, but there were also weapons that didn't. And then Black Ops 4 changed that up completely. Black Ops 4 has weapons that have insane amounts of ammo. And then we come to Cold War, where ammo is so plentiful, it's virtually impossible to find yourself in a situation where you either can't get ammo or don't have ammo. There are perks that, I mean, there's a perk that takes care of your ammo situation for you. Plus, there's the fact that bosses drop ammo packets, and you can buy ammo all over the map. I think this game has way better mechanics and way better gameplay and gunplay than before. My only serious problem with Cold War is the fact that none of the guns are unique or special after pack-a-punching. And that's just the case with every single weapon in this game. You have the Spaz that turns full auto. You have the M16 that turns into a 6-round burst from a 3-round. I mean, there's little stuff like that, but none of it's game-breaking. None of it makes me go, wow, this is crazy. And for all the bad-mouthing that Black Ops 4 gets, they had some amazing concepts for that game. Like a pump-action shotgun that turns into a grenade launcher. Thank you, I'll have 5. You know? Like, I don't particularly get it. Why people hate that stuff. That stuff was unique. It was interesting. And maybe folks don't really hate Black Ops 4 per se. It's more or less like the execution of it, which I can understand to some degree. But it's still like they had better ideas. The operator mods were awesome. They worked well in zombies. It was something that I was hoping would stay a series staple, but I had an idea that they wouldn't. And it just has to do with the fact that Call of Duty tries to make gimmicks every single game. There's a gimmick in every single game. Doesn't matter what game you're playing. There is a gimmick in the multiplayer that transfers over to zombies also. Like, for instance, this game really feels like a looter shooter, and that's because that's just how multiplayer is in some aspects. Not completely. I mean, there is also like the fact that battle royales are so extensively vibrant nowadays and so loved. I enjoy some, but there's problems with it in my opinion. The fact that most battle royales are just a one and done, you've got one life kind of thing, it's not the greatest. And even when they try to shake up that formula, it's never balanced well, in my opinion. I could have stayed in that area a little bit longer, but it's okay. It's not like we don't have the capacity to do more challenges. You're not allowed to run past me, buddy. Not allowed to run past me at all. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's... I have to say this. I just have to put this out there. Black Ops Cold War. has awesome map designs. The maps are not the best maps ever, but the designs of the maps are cool. Like the fact that you can, especially with the flow, the fact that you can just like mantle over everything, jump over everything, that kind of stuff. I love that. But one of the things I love the most that they did with these maps, or tried to do in most cases, is make the maps feel unique to themselves. And one of the ways they did that with Firebase Z was changing out the dog wave that we've come to know and hate, and turning it into the assault rounds, which are the best special rounds in zombies, in my opinion, ever. There is just no competition. Uh, Dog waves are boring, in my opinion. D Machine is the only game, or the only map, I should say, that has a dog wave that I find fun. And it's because the play counts are fun. They're interesting. They're different. And even then, it's still repetitive because it's still a dog round. It still is. I don't really care for that. I don't see how anybody could care for that. Um, and the assault rounds are something different. And then, take Mauert or Toten, for instance. Mauert or Toten tried to do its own take on the dog rounds, but then just made the dog rounds. And it blew my mind that was how that they approached it. Was they basically just made the dog rounds, but made them into people. But why, though? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm having a hard time getting it. Depending on how long we're actually in this map, which I'm hoping we're going to be playing it long enough, we should be able to see a couple of glitches that I have discovered that I haven't seen commonly reported or reported at all in any of these maps. So I'm looking forward to that too. Showing off some of my zombies knowledge. Alright, we need... Oh. Let's go ahead and set up our toxic growths for right now, where we're going to be camping. And then I'm going to run around for a bit before we bother camping. I typically only like camping in the higher rounds if I'm going to camp, because the zombies are just too slow. They don't get to you quick enough. This map becomes very insanely hectic at a point where basically the colonel's office becomes to the point where you cannot camp here. Unless you're on the top of your game and you're utilizing constant ring of fires and the wonder weapon constantly. So we might not stay in the colonel's office for the entirety of the game, even amongst my camping, because there are other places that you can try. I might attempt to go to those places. One of these days, I'm going to have to revisit Mauert or Toten. I'm going to eventually revisit all these maps, but I'm going to revisit Mauert or Toten because I can't believe how bad I was just... That map turned out bad. It really did. I have gotten to round 50 plus on every one of these maps, and in some cases much higher than that. And I think it was like the low 30s I died in that map. And it was just because of some, I want to say, coincidence, because I had never seen that happen before with the Panzers. So it was funny to me. It honestly was funny to me. I didn't want to end the stream immediately because I was only playing for like half an hour or more. I think it was around 45 minutes when that happened. And it was kind of a shame because I was planning on getting to like at least 50 or 60. And then all of a sudden, nah, you're not getting that far. You're not getting that far, Zeke. Nah, not today. Alright, so now we can go back to Aether Shroud. Alright, cool. So I'll leave the Toxic Growths there. They'll just sit and chill. And I'll do some running around. and enjoy myself. I was thinking about maybe doing some more challenges, but it's not important. I mean, yes, you can get like free perks, but it's likely that it's actually going to give me a couple of free wonder weapons if I get enough legendaries, and that's cute and all, but I already have the wonder weapon. I don't need to anymore. So, uh, you know, it's just insane. Talking about game design though. All right, so not that. And down we are. Fantastic. Wow. All right. That was incredible, and I don't mean it in the good way. Let's just be honest. I'm very glad I didn't pack a punch and then immediately go down, because then uh, not having the perks can be quite detrimental. I can't believe that just happened, but I mean, it was one of those moments where I was being dumb and greedy, trying to pack a punch as rapidly as possible, and it just did not go well for me. Let's go ahead and grab some armor refill. All right, so now that I'm not, being rudely interrupted by my being down, I'm gonna have to save up for double pack on my Ray K again. But okay, going back to what I was talking about, concerning game design, a lot of the game design in this game particularly takes cues from previous zombies, and I think that's a good thing in a way. It makes me kind of hopeful but also fearful for the next game in Treyarch's future, because if you take a look at Vanguard, Vanguard is just, nobody asked for that. It's one of those nobody asked moments. We didn't want that. We didn't care for that. I don't know anyone who enjoys Treyarch Zombies who thinks that's a good game. I don't know anyone. I mean, I know some people who meme with it and try to like be contrary or say that they like it just because, everybody else doesn't. But the game is bad. It's just bad. You're not telling me otherwise. It's basically Outbreak, which nobody I know who likes Treyarch Zombies, or I should say old school Treyarch Zombies, would pick that over round based. Nobody I know. Just let's be honest here with ourselves. Um, so nobody I know would choose that over. It's basically Outbreak, but without the freedom. It's a sandbox without being a sandbox, or I should say, it's Outbreak without being a sandbox. It has some qualities to it that are okay, and some progression to it that's okay. And they try to make it like a roguelike, which is funny, interesting, to some degree. I don't really care for it. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. But that's why I'm kind of hopeful that they don't go that route of like fully getting into Outbreak and saying, well, this is what we want, guys. We don't want round base anymore. I kind of see them reneging about it in Vanguard right now, how they're trying to make more maps. But so there are some things that I'm hopeful for the future, especially because of what Treyarch has had in the past. There's things that they could take advantage of. This game they could take advantage of. Games that they've already done, they could take advantage of. They don't have to just say, we got to make it new. The community, who should not be listened to, in any way, shape, or form wants brand spanking new. They want, something totally different. I want round based, but a little bit innovative. I want new game modes. I want grief back. That's the stuff we want. I don't want Outbreak. Unless Outbreak has its own zombie maps, I don't want it. I really don't. I don't think anybody would disagree with that either. Unless Outbreak is zombie specific. Let's be real here. Let's talk about this conversation for a second. How many people who love zombies, or I should say, who enjoy the idea at least of Outbreak, would have loved it even more? And I had Aether Shroud earlier too when I went down, which is even the funnier part. How many people would have loved it if instead of us getting these generic multiplayer fire team maps to play on, we instead got Blackout? Like the Blackout map turned into a zombies map, and that was Outbreak. How many people would have loved that? I'll tell you what, I would probably be playing that more than round-based, especially if there wasn't warping and teleporting between main objectives. I hate that with a burning fiery passion. I really do. I just really do. I think it's dumb. It takes you out of the game. It takes you out of the experience. It feels very forced. It takes too long. It doesn't feel interesting or pointful or useful at all, because it's not useful. It's something that they did because specifically they made the maps. The maps are too big for zombies, and for like all the assets to be loaded in. So it has to load in, and that's the time it loads in, is when you're warping. I understand that. That's why it shouldn't have been multiple maps. It should have been one map and only one map. I don't care if it was the smallest of the mainland maps in Outbreak. If they had one map and then filled it to the brim with side and main objectives and Easter eggs and other things like that, everybody would have loved it. Everybody. There's not one person, there's not one zombies lover who would have been like, yeah, this is dumb. It would have basically been Battle Royale zombies. And that's what we were excited about for Outbreak, was the potential of it being Battle Royale zombies. Let's be quick. And you missed. I was not about to forget that I have Aether Shroud and can thoroughly use it. Alright, cool. So we're sitting pretty right now, we just have to be careful of our running locations. Let's run here for a minute. And you are down. Alright, so yeah, why I even bring this up about Outbreak is because looking back on things, if Outbreak had come out as a mode, even as generic as it is, back in Black Ops 2, everybody would have been excited for it. I would have been excited for it, because it would have been entirely new and innovative. But the reason why I don't find it so great now is because the gameplay in Cold War Zombies is awesome, but then you've got just like lackluster maps. Even the regular Zombies maps are kind of lackluster, and I Zombies isn't being monetized. The content, the DLC, isn't being monetized in a sense. They've got microtransactions, but so that's why they're justifying it. But I really feel that that's the wrong thought process, because there's no one gonna tell me that Activision couldn't afford to make sure that Treyarch had better maps and more modes and more content in this game. even at you know, some people would be like, well, $60 doesn't pay for that. I'm pretty sure they're making more than enough money on just the first week of sales of Call of Duty that they wouldn't even have to have microtransactions. I'm just fully of that belief. Let alone the fact that, you know, trying to peddle DLC as something to be purchased in any game is a hard thing to do. And yes, people do it. Even Nintendo does it, and it's unfortunate. But the problem is that we don't particularly know if that stuff was like cut content that they're just trying to put a price tag on. I don't like the thought of that. I know for a fact Call of Duty's been doing that for years. There are proponents of Call of Duty who say, no, you know, they're adding new content to the game. No, they're not. They're milking your wallet. That's all they're doing. So there's issues with that. But concerning game design, looking back at stuff, the reason why I think the trials are a fantastic compromise in this game for obtaining the Wonder Weapon is because this game has a way for you to build the Wonder Weapon, not only build it, but you can get it from the box, and you can get it from Trials. Now, Trials, in my opinion, is the most reliable way to get the Wonder Weapons in this game outside of building it. But the building it in all maps, except for D Machine, is too tedious. Alright, so where are you? There you are. Yeah, the building it in all the maps besides D Machine is too tedious. It's just way too tedious. It's not hard. It's just too many steps for not enough. Because the reality is, let's just look at it. Let's just be honest here. The reality is that if I'm playing the early round, like let's say, for instance, the first 8 rounds you saw me play, I had a legendary reward by the time, literally, by the time of round 8. If I had gotten the Wonder Weapon there was virtually no chance I would have gotten it through building it faster. Even in D Machine, it's pretty unlikely because it takes about that long to get power on. I mean, yes, you can get it on sooner. I know. I'm not dumb. But if that had been a Wonder Weapon at round 8, at literally round 8, it would have been pretty much the fastest I could get it, besides spinning the box and getting it randomly. That's pretty much it. And that's cool. You don't have to do that, but it's cool because instead of building the weapon in whatever tedious manner it is, and pretty much every weapon, you know, I'll build the Wonder Weapon in D Machine because, again, it's easy to build in D Machine. Part of that being because of the game design philosophy behind it, which is that, you know, there's 4 other upgrades to it that you technically have to build. So that's part of the building of the Die Shockwave. So you know, that's something to pay attention to at the very least, in my opinion. But the fact of the matter is that I can have a Wonder Weapon at round 8 from doing trials, from just doing regular old everyday stuff in zombies. It makes it fun. Spinning the box for a Wonder Weapon in this game is kind of not viable, especially in the early rounds. Could you imagine if you were doing like an Easter egg run, or a speed run, I should say, and your goal was to get the Wonder Weapon out of the box? It's so abysmally unlikely. I actually appreciate that too. I don't think that's wrong, per se. That it's unlikely to get the Wonder Weapon from spinning the box early round. I don't think that's wrong at all. I think that the purpose that the box serves in this map is to give you access to stronger weapons without having to you don't have to use your salvage. It's sort of like with the whole alright, zombies. Yeah, it's sort of like with the whole thing with the wall weapons. The wall weapons are amazing. And it's why I have a lot of wall weapons as primary classes after I did all of the Dark Aether stuff, because the fact of the matter is, if you can get the wall weapon, like for instance, if you start with the MP5, and let's say you don't have the Super Easter Egg done, pre-Super Easter Egg, you could just go up to the MP5 wall buy when it turns orange and save yourself that salvage. You could pack-a-punch something else, or even pack-a-punch your base rarity, or even get up to blue. And that pack-a-punch it, you know, and it'll do you good for the time being. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go beyond blue because you would want to get yourself your orange legendary weapon. So there's that too. All right, so let's go ahead. Wow, that was pretty impressive. I've never seen that happen to me before. Oh, I guess we're running out here for a second more. We are about to camp, though. I'm about to pull out Ring of Fire and have at it. I wonder if I can jump through there. About to find out. Usually I'm more into using the regular weapons than the wonder weapons for like low rounds, for instance, or for camping strats in the low rounds, and then for running strats it's just more viable. Especially some wonder weapons are just not, they're not meant for running. They're not meant for you to use. Alright, let's go ahead and try this. And it worked. That's incredible. How have I played this game as long as I have, and I have never done that? Like, I've seen it happen in certain places, and I just thought it was like a glitch in certain areas that you could do. But, no, I just went straight through that wall. That's pretty cool. But yeah, in Black Ops 3, the problem is that almost all the wonder weapons were buildable. And you couldn't really obtain them from the box. There was like a single map that you could, until Chronicles, that is. And nobody liked that. I didn't like that. I thought it was dumb, because even though it was consistent, like you could obtain it consistently, it didn't really matter that that was the case, because the problem still persisted that it was a tedious grind. You were constantly doing the same old stuff. It's why I don't think Origins is the best map ever. I don't even think it's the best map in Black Ops 2. I would never dare say that Mob is the best map in Black Ops 2. It's the most tedious, besides Origins. Now, Origins isn't really tedious if you're not doing, like, the wonder weapons, which, you know, there are times where I just forego them whenever I'm playing Origins. A lot of times, if I'm being honest, because even though I know how to do them, it's kind of boring. Kind of really boring. To just make the staffs over and over again. It's the same thing with Darius and Draka. Even though the bows are far and away better. I'm pretty sure anybody would agree with that. Far and away better. It's still like, I would love that back, please. Thank you. I would much rather not even bother, because the build of the wonder weapons just takes too long. It's too tedious. It's too constant nonsense, and I just don't want anything to do with it. So I steer clear away from that. And most of the maps where building the wonder weapon is the only way to obtain it, I don't have them very highly rated on my list. I really don't. So there was problems with that. Black Ops 2 introduced building wonder weapons, and I would not say for the better. Black Ops 3 kind of went overboard with that, and then Black Ops 4 was like, nah, you know, we're going to take it back a couple of notches because we understand that it's ridiculous. I was very grateful that they understood that it was ridiculous, and, you know, here we are. We're at the point where not only can you get the wonder weapon from the box, you can build the wonder weapon in every map. You can also get the wonder weapon from trials. And then there's like the coffin dance Easter egg in each map. You have a chance, however small it may be, you have a chance to get the wonder weapon from that loot box itself. Alright, so let's take you out. Alright, so this is one of the glitches that's commonly, that I know of, that is not commonly reported. Manglers will just spawn here. And until, he'll eventually despawn from that location and spawn somewhere else. But if you're in anywhere near him, it takes him a long time. You basically have to teleport. I don't particularly care, though. I'm not actually even holding him just because of that. I just thought it was funny to show, and I knew he would spawn here anyway, so. Oh, we already have that triple packed. Take that triple pack. Let's go ahead. We'll get you. And we'll get you. So we'll leave PhD and Tombstone for last. See, like, he's back there. I don't even think I can hit him. No, I can't hit him. What a shame. Alright, that doesn't even matter. We're going to be leaving this area, teleporting back. Yeah, he's actually got several locations in the spawn that he can spawn at that, like, for instance, there. I don't even think there's a possible way to hit him there. Where he can spawn and get stuck behind something, and you can't really do anything about it. There's just no way to manipulate him to go elsewhere. Okay, we gotta wait.
A rifle like that could get us back on equal footing with a Omega group. See if you can find its part.
Alright, I don't even know why I picked that up, if I'm being honest. But it doesn't matter. We're just waiting for the Mangler now. I probably should have knocked him out when he was over here, but I wanted to show him the other locations. I don't know if other people just don't know about this, or if Firebase is not a map that people like to high round or something. Because, you know, the average zombies player only gets to round 12, which kind of blows my mind. When I found that out, that that was like an actual statistic, I was kind of insanely boggled in my mind that that was a thing. How could that be a thing? I can't even recall a single map where I haven't beaten round 20 on it. Like, even stuff like Nocturne and Toten in World at War. It's in my opinion not that difficult. Alright, so one of my strategies for this map is to have a third weapon, so I'll be buying a third weapon soon, and putting brain rot on it. And it is because this map is polluted with special zombies. Using brain rot to basically have yourself like a mimic or a mangler that's just going around and attacking everything for you is so cool. I absolutely love it. So we'll be getting to that strategy soon. I I actually wish that this barrier right here, or this entryway, was an actual barrier. It would be very useful, in my opinion. Because barriers and zombies are notoriously useless to a degree, but that doesn't mean you can't, you know, curve the zombie spawns using it. We do definitely need to get that third weapon, though. I love how that if you shoot the plague hounds and the hellhounds, they all give you the ability to basically use them to deny, like area denial kind of thing. Plague hounds are much better though, because they also slow the zombies, they don't just damage. The hellhounds are cool for the fact that they will damage the zombies, but it kind of works against your Deadshot Daiquiri if you're using it, because the whole gimmick of Deadshot Daiquiri is that with the first headshot, you can do double damage. You don't have that capacity if they're already damaged. Alright. So where is the box? Pretty sure we're going to have ourselves an assault round next wave. That'll be fun. Grab ourselves something from the box. It doesn't really matter what. Well, I mean, it does matter to a degree. Like, for instance, I'm not... Well, I'll take them, but I'm not going to bother with them. Yeah, this is good. Let's get the blueprint on it. And we'll get brain rot on it as well. The M1911 and... I did not get it. I must have been too fast. Yeah, the M1911 and the Magnums are the only weapons, only pistols in this game that I feel are really underwhelming for what they are and what they do. Magnums are way too slow fire rate, and the M1911s are way too low in damage. They're just not, they're not feasible, but I will say, is he over here? Oh, he is over here. The other pistols in this game are awesome. Alright, so we don't have an assault round this wave. That's pretty interesting. That's usually definitely not the case. Alright, so my brain rot gun is before the EM2. Well, we'll pull this weapon out for the time being because of that. Get 'em, boys! Love that so much. All right. Taking out zombies. And you're gone. You're gone. And you're gone. Yeah, Ring of Fire isn't 100% necessary for camping strategies, but man, oh man, I'd be lying if I didn't say it was awesome. Still no assault round. It's actually pretty darn incredible. Well, we've got both of our main weapons triple packed. We're actually not going to do anything else with this gun. I don't plan on using it whatsoever in my strategy. Even in insanely high rounds, it's not important or necessary. One thing we definitely want to get ourselves probably a flamethrower, because the flamethrower works really well on this map. I'd say the death machine is still better of a support, but that doesn't mean that it's, you know, bad to have the flamethrower. Flamethrower basically insta-melts manglers. Mimics, it's okay on. I really just get it primarily to crowd control while I'm in here, because you need something. And the supports don't really help you in that. Outside of the weapon supports. Alright, wave 32. Our next wave should be an assault round. It's actually kind of crazy to me that I've gotten it this high. Most of the time it's definitely like you have the assault round pretty much at round 30. But I mean, it's not totally unlikely. 30 to 33 is about when you'll get the assault round. So once I KO this mangler. Yeah, that's what I figured. And it's right here. Cool. Yep, once more, we'll be taking them out. Glad this is right here, actually. That was such a cool update that they added to this game. The ability that the wall weapons will change in rarity. Actually, I don't know how many people remember this, but when basically before the map was released and they were given the trailers and explanations of, well, this game is going to be very interesting and different, and they were talking about how you can make every weapon into an uber weapon, which is nonsense. You know, that's absolutely not the case. You cannot make every weapon into an uber weapon. One of the things that they did say, Treyarch did say, was that every time you spawned in a map, you would be able to do things differently because the wall weapons would change in rarity. That's something they said at launch that was not true until way after launch. In fact, they never even brought it up. Not even once. From my recollection, they never brought it up even once until it was an actual feature. Very glad it is a feature, though. Alright. We're almost done with the order. I love this. The assault rounds get so cool to me because of the fact that you're basically fighting a boss fight. And we're just about done with him. And he is gone. Moments like these are why I am more than willing to make sure that I have a... Yeah, we'll take a flamethrower. More than willing to make sure that I have a bunch of like semtexes and stun grenades, because they're just really useful. Though they're really useful regardless, even before you had PhD, and didn't have to worry, you know, and you did have to worry about explosive, not that you didn't. It was so useful because you could just blow up an entire horde of zombies with the semtexes. I think the only time that that wasn't the case is when they doubled the health cap from 60 to 120,000, which was very misguided in my opinion. If we had double tap, I would say that that's not that bad of an idea to do that. I wouldn't want them to double, maybe go to like 90,000. But then there's also, for instance, the fact that double tap doesn't have to increase damage. I don't know if people understand this, but if Treyarch were to bring double tap into Cold War, and pretty much, you know, it's not happening just because of the fact that, you know, Cold War is basically a dead and gone game. Don't know why I was using that. It's getting a little bit of support, which is nice. It's fine, but it's not like a mainline game in support anymore, and that has to do with the fact that it's just not feasible for them to do that, being that Treyarch is stuck with a bunch of different projects right now. But if now we're just talking about if double tap came into this game, all they would have to do is severely increase the amount of fire rate you have, as well as, and I mean like severely, not for full autos per se, but for like pump actions and bolt actions and stuff like that, and also add bullet penetration. If Cold War had bullet penetration in double tap, you would not need it to deal more damage. You just wouldn't. You really wouldn't. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care, like, oh, well, why would they put a feature? Why would they lock a feature that was normal in other games behind a perk in this game? I don't know how many people have played Cold War or not, but if you've played it at all, you would come to the realization that this game is obviously designed differently. It is very obvious that this is not a normal zombies game. That there's a lot of very interesting mechanics about it. I didn't mean to use that, but it's okay. Yeah, there's a lot of very interesting mechanics about it, and the game just, it doesn't need bullet penetration, but man oh man, some weapons would be just better with it. A perfect example is actually the snipers. The snipers are downright useless in this game. You can put Shatter Blast on any sniper and have a one-shot weapon that will kill a whole horde. You can do that. But you can also do that with any melee. You can do that with any shotgun. In fact, you can do that with any gun in this game. You can put Shatter Blast on any gun in this game and kill a whole horde in one shot if your gun is fully upgraded. You absolutely can. Manglers are my favorite thing to turn in this map. Alright, get these guys out of my way. Manglers are awesome to turn. And the fact that you can turn them in this game, in comparison to the games previously that had manglers, it's just amazing. I thought I was going to get him. Alright, we do need toxic growth back. We're going to have to get one of our growths back, it appears. Actually, this map, I prefer eventually using Molotovs. I'm going to pick up this Molotov. Just because, you know, blocking a doorway or blocking this zombie spawn is really good. And we'll just pull out the flamethrower. Got the wonder weapon out. Let's go ahead and turn to toxic growth right now. Oh, That's unfortunate. My mule kick didn't save that Molotov. But, you know, it is what it is. 25% chance isn't guaranteed, that's for sure. And now we'll switch back to Ring of Fire. Oh wait, actually we need another Toxic Growth. We'll keep Ring of Fire for this time being, actually. We'll switch to Toxic Growth in a moment. And you should be? Yeah, you should be at end of the round, and you were. Alright, so let's get our Semtexes back. At least for the time being. We'll hold on to Ring of Fire for a moment. Okay, we have 79 ammo of that. You just want to be more than ready for whatever is going to approach you. At some point, stun grenades aren't even that useful in the sense that, yes, they will always do what they do best, but you kind of don't want to just use them. I'll eventually get Casimirs while camping in here because it just makes sense. And now we can switch while we're in the Ring of Fire. Gathering to ourselves all the points. And take that, zombies. The Ray K is pretty darn awesome. We'll switch back to Ring of Fire. Thank you for the armor. Yeah, we already have 4 Semtexes back again, and I threw one last wave and only had, I think, 1 or 2. You get them pretty often. You don't really get Molotovs often enough, and it's unfortunate, to say the least, because Molotovs are fun. Alright, now we have a friend. And more armor. Always appreciated. Bring out Ring of Fire. I'm actually a huge fan of Depth Perception. Depth Perception is allowing me to see things in this room while being stuck behind a bunch of enemies a whole lot better. And we'll throw that. Alright, cool. Yeah, quick and proper use of the equipment that they drop can really change the tide of battle, in my opinion. I actually like that a lot. I like that this game is basically a looter shooter. It has elements of a battle royale in it, and I think that's what makes this Zombies so much fun. That's my opinion, obviously. Black Ops 4 had like the hero shooter elements, and then Black Ops 3 had like the epic tale, and they were all great for their own reasons. But this game just beats them all. Let's go ahead. I like insta-kills in the later rounds because you can nuke the bosses. And you don't have to worry about Ring of Fire, per se. But the only problem with insta-kills is that you cannot gain field upgrade charge while you are using insta-kill, which is okay, you know. It's not exactly a deal breaker. It's more or less like a balancing thing. I can see why they did it. I just think it's somewhat silly because of how fast the field upgrades charge anyway. It's not like it would have broke the game. Let's be real. It would definitely not have broken the game. Molotov. Hopefully we get more than one use out of this Molotov. We haven't yet. But that's just the name of the game when it comes to relying on chance. Alright, get them, boys. Aw. I should have waited until that drop came to be known, because I had a feeling it was going to be a nuke. Just one of those gut feelings. You got to trust your gut feeling sometimes. All right. Yeah, as you can pretty well see, the Ray K is pretty much needed for high round camping strats. It's an unnecessary evil, I would say, to have to be under the necessity. The necessity of having a wonder weapon will definitely take some Texas over frags any day. Frag grenades are great for what they do. They're not amazing, and there's better. I'm glad that all of the explosive equipment actually kills in this game. That was something that they brought to heal with Black Ops 4, and then I'm just so glad that they kept that. In Black Ops 4, every single equipment, even the fragmentation grenades, they were absolutely useful in zombies to whatever wave you got to. They would do work. Alright, give me some time to switch over weapons. And that Mangler is now our best friend. So the strategy here is pretty simple. You have to have a good weapon, a decent weapon. It doesn't have to be like the best thing on earth, because just about any weapon with Ring of Fire will take out pretty much anything. But it has to be at least a decent weapon. And you use the Ray K until you get Ring of Fire charge, and then you use Ring of Fire and you repeat the process. It's I can see why some people say it's too easy, but it's really not that brain dead. It really isn't. You saw me play Forsaken, and I couldn't camp any longer at 59. It was too rough. Go ahead, Mangles. Get them all. And we've got our Ring of Fire. We are missing armor. It was not a good idea for me to do that. Alright. Yeah, so there's a lot of people who harp on Tombstone, but I think Tombstone is the best way to revive yourself in this game. I mean, self revives are good and all, but Tombstone has more benefits than just being able to revive you. Why can't I get up there? And revived. Aw. And that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate, but it's actually the end of the round, so it's not like we can't come back from this. It's just, again, unfortunate. Take you out. We'll go grab our perks, our armor, and get ready to roll. This is actually one of the reasons why I love Wonder Fizz so much, is because of the fact that Wonder Fizz allows you to get all of your perks pretty darn quickly, as I will demonstrate in a moment. I think that's awesome. We do need a quick or self-revive. All right, round 44. We're going to be going to another assault round. And taking on, I believe there's an order every single assault round from round 30 on. If that's the case, because it's been a little while. If that's the case, I don't really like that. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, it's the case. And he gets beefier every time. It's the only reason why high rounds in this map are not the greatest, I guess you could say. Alright. Take him out, please. Take all these guys out. Awesome. The order is almost done. And he is finished. That's a very intriguing sight there. Very intriguing. All right, so now we can get back to our camping spot. I always forget where the jump pads are over here. I think, yeah, they're both inside actually. And back and away we go. Round 45. Flamethrower still has 51. We can use it. Actually, I think we're going to run up out of here. We're going to go ahead and camp in my second favorite spot. This next spot is a little bit harder to camp in because of the incline, but it's also a little bit friendlier to escaping and score streaks. I will take that nuke. Alright, you can put 2 toxic growths up here, and then like 1 in front of you. Alright, so the zombies are now at the mercy of my insta-kill. Yeah, there's pretty much no way of escaping the other camping spot without things like the monkey bomb or the Casimir or Aether Shroud, so on and so forth. You're just not really escaping without it. But this spot is a little bit different. You can actually escape this spot, especially if you have 2 toxic growths up here. You can get up there, throw a grenade or 2, jump off the side, like right here. You can't really jump off of all of the side here. You have to be right in this corner. So it is detrimental, but the problem is that the Colonel's office is a death trap. Pretty much regardless of how you play. Aw. What a shame. I think that's plenty of run for the day in Firebase Z. I think I demonstrated well enough that the EM2 is a fantastic assault rifle, especially in multiplayer and zombies. It's just fantastic all around in this game. And I'm so very thrilled that we're one map closer to being finished with the 4 map overview of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I definitely can't wait until we get into some other games too. I would stream more than once a week, but oh man, schedules. Plus, it's kind of with videos, editing, streaming, some people who do this stuff every day, it's pretty insane to me that they got that they have the capacity to work through all of the problems of like streaming and making videos and editing. And it's why a lot of people who are YouTubers, they will make these folks will make it so that they will have teams of people, teams of people. But either way, I am pretty happy with that. It could have always gone better. I did go down several times, which was pretty shocking in the fact that like every single time I could have done something about it. But that's the thing is like it's operator error. It's honestly operator error. You can always do better. But either way, I had a fun time, and I hope you had fun watching and joining me on this little run of mine. And I'll see you guys next time.